Right now, I'm challenging myself to see if I can make 128 Regulation H teams that are each different from one another over the course of 128 days. Why 128, you might ask? At the end of the 128 days, we're going to do something special where we battle every team against each other in a single elimination bracket to see which team emerges on top. There will be some competitively strong teams, there will be some gimmick teams, and there will be some probably a good number of goofs and gaffs in there, so if you want to follow through to the end, subscribe so that you can keep up with each day. But without further ado, let's move on to day 8. Alright everybody, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we are working with the concept of using the ability Contrary or Bust. Either the Contrary works out on this team, or it doesn't. That's the simple basis of it. We've got two Contrary Mons in Malamar and Superior, so let's begin to break down what this team is made up with, starting off with one of our Contrary Mons, which is Malamar. And just a brief overview of the ability Contrary is that if there are any stat changes that would happen on the Pokemon, those stat changes are flipped. So if you were to get an attack boost, it would actually be an attack decrease and vice versa. And with this on our Malamar set, we can use the move Superpower, because every time we use Superpower, it will give us an attack and defense boost, and we also have some good stab damage and Night Slash in order to get things like ghost types, and we have the Terra Blast, which when we're using Stellar Terra will become a much stronger move, and it will also give us an attack boost and special attack boost, but we don't really care about the special attack boost. I just realized that the EV spread was negative speed nature, and we don't want negative speed nature because we want to be fairly speedy with Malamar, but you gotta notice that every time you put on Terra Blast, because Terra Blast is special until you Terrestrialize, and then it becomes a physical or a special attack depending on which one of your stats is higher. And then for item, we just have the Expert Belt, since we're expecting it to do a lot of super effective damage, and if anything terrestrializes against us in order to avoid being weak to Superpower or Night Slash, we can then use the Stellar Terra Blast to be super effective on them. Moving into a very important Pokemon that is not a Contrary Pokemon on this team, we have a return of Grimmsnarl, and this Grimmsnarl is not a Screens Grimmsnarl, but it is entirely based around stat dropping, as we have the Fake Tears, which will lower the target's special defense by 2, but on our Contrary Mons, it will raise our special defense by 2. Same idea with Scary Face, but it just lowers the speed of things. We also have the Fake Out in case we need to stall a turn with Grimmsnarl, and our attacking option is going to be the Spirit Break. However, I could definitely see putting something like Lash Out or False Surrender on this set. With the Cover Cloak, we won't be getting faked out, and with the Terra Steel type, we can hopefully create some resistances for ourselves that are meaningful. Moving into our second Contrary Mon, we have the Superior, and Superior's gist is that we are going to use the Leaf Storm, and every time we use Leaf Storm, it will raise our special attack by 2, and we also have 2 type coverage moves in the Terra Blast, which we can't use outside of Terra, because it'll just be a normal type attack, but whenever we Terrestrialize, it'll become a fire type attack, and we have the Dragon Pulse. Next up, we have Glamora here, and this is a pretty standard Glamora set, I would say. We are one of the modest Glamora, so we want to be doing as much damage as we can with our Meteor Beam, but with the use of our Power Herb, because we'll get really good rock type damage for one turn, and then we can work with our Sludge Bomb and our Earth Power in order to do some good damage as well. And then we also have Toxic Debris in case we need to stall out the opponent for whatever reason. Moving into the Talonflame, we have a full flying type moveset, which works with our ability Gale Wings, which will give us priority as long as we are at full health, and we will get priority Tailwind, and we are a very fast Tailwind user, so that is notable. But we also have the ability to attack with Brave Bird, and then after we use Brave Bird, we won't be at full health anymore. As well as we have the Feather Dance that we can use into our opponents, but we can also use it into Malamar in order to increase Malamar's attack for one turn, and then we have the Protect in order to save ourselves for a turn. And we're Clear Amulet so that we can avoid Intimidates, and we're Terra Ghost in case we need to avoid a fake out on Talonflame, we can do that. And then lastly, we have the Farigiraf, who is built in order to imprison Trick Room, so we don't want Trick Room going up on this team since a lot of our components are very fast in nature and want to deal damage very quickly. And with Armor Tail, we can also warrant switching in for Farigiraf in case there's like an Incineroar on the field that wants to click Fake Out into one of our mons that already has a lot of boost. And the Psychic is good damage coverage, as well as we have the Terra Fairy in order to give us some useful resistances, and we can just nom on a Citrus Berry in order to get our health back in case we need to stay on the field for longer. So yeah, not the fullest team I've ever thought out, but I think this team still has a lot of really good merit to it, so let's get into some battles. Alright, so this is an open team sheet battle that I had against a Perish Trap team. Because if you look here, they have the Azumarill and they have the Poliwhirl, which both have Perish Trap. And Ludicolo can work together with Poliwhirl in the rain. Did I say Poliwhirl? I meant Politoed. That's a Politoed. Then they also have some useful anti-priority, like their Farigiraf and their Gothitelle will keep everything locked in. So we gotta be careful about what Pokemon we're bringing here. I decided to lead Superior Grimmsnarl since I think that'll have the most play into their rain, and they lead Incineroar Politoed, perhaps wanting to get off the Perish right away, but they instead decide to protect for one turn as I Fake Tears, not really fearing this Incineroar because I don't think this Incineroar actually had any fire type moves, but on a rain team, it doesn't really make sense to run an Incineroar with fire type moves. Try to Leaf Storm into the Politoed to get some damage into it, but Incineroar just decides to leave, and then in comes Ludicolo in the rain. Ludicolo leaves in favor of Gothitelle, and Politoed decides to use the Terra Grass in order to get off the Perish Song. And Politoed resists it, so now it lives the turn, and it gets off the Perish Song, and we're probably going to be stuck here for a bit, but I at least want Superior to try and get off as much damage as possible. Gothitelle fakes out, and we Spirit Break into Incineroar for the damage that we can get, even though we're super intimidated right now and Mega gotten by the Incineroar. Slowing down the Superior with Fake Out that Incineroar is, as well as the Gothitelle goes for Heal Pulse into Incineroar, so with Perish happening next turn, things aren't looking super great for us. We tried Dragon Pulsing into Incineroar, but Incineroar actually has Protect, which you don't see on a lot of Incineroars. But Gothitelle, kind of opening up its ability to be hit here, decides to actually just Perish for whatever reason. But we have Malamar and Glimmora in the back. So against Politoed is currently terrestrialized into Grass. Glimmora is a great answer. And even though they decide to Parting Shot Glimmora in order to go into Ludicolo, we can Superpower with Malamar, and that gives us a defense boost. So now, since Glimmora is faster than Incineroar, we can just take Glimmora here and we can Spiky Shield first. I wanted to avoid the Fake Outs. But we can Terrestrialize Glimmora into Grass type, and even though they Weather Ball into Malamar in order to try to take it out, we can Sludge Bomb into Ludicolo, and at this point the game is pretty much over because Glimmora can Meteor Beam into the Incineroar, and even though the Incineroar is going to protect the first attack, we still have the Earth Power, and now our special attack is at neutral, and again, Incineroar does not have any Fire type moves on it, but even if it did, we are still currently in Rain. The Throat Chop's not going to do anything since Glimmora doesn't know any sound-based moves, and Incineroar is going to take the Earth Power after it stalls with Protect for whatever reason. Moving into the second game here, I think I better understand how to deal with this team in the second battle, so I just decide to lead Glimmora and Grimmsnarl in order to try and target the Politoed, as Glimmora's Terra Grass isn't really threatened by anything on this team. They go for Sweet Scent, and I think they try to go for the Hypnosis with Politoed here. However, Politoed gets flinched by the Fake Out. Now Politoed is in range, where even if it terrestrializes, it's probably going to get knocked out by whatever attack is sent into it. Seeing that Gothitelle wasn't on the field, I decided to switch into Superior to get Superior going, and just in case. And Politoed is going to go for the Terra Grass, and they're going to Fake Out into Superior. But we're able to Sludge Bomb into Politoed, and that is the end of Politoed, and now it's just Incineroar, Gothitelle, and Ludicolo versus the world. However, I don't think that that's quite enough, because Glimmora can just Sludge Bomb into whatever slot it wants, and it picks up the super effective KO into Ludicolo here. And the opponent understands that at this point, the battle's pretty much lost, as Superior and Glimmora will just absolutely destroy everything that's left on the team. Okay, here we have a bit of a Trick Room team. They are Final Gambit Ape, though, which really keeps us from safely getting off our imprisoned Trick Room. I guess it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if we... I think we need to use Grimmsnarl and Malamar in order to keep the Trick Room from absolutely destroying us. So let's do Grimmsnarl and Malamar, and we're going to have Glimmora and Farigiraf in the back. Opponent leads and DD Armarouge. Okay, I think this is the best thing that can happen for us. They do have Meteor Beam on Armarouge, which I didn't know that Armarouge got that. But this turn, we're going to go side Fake Tears into Malamar, and then we are going to Night Slash into Armarouge. And DD follows me. Oh, wait. Oh, and DD followed me, the Fake Tears. That's why it didn't hit. Ah, shucks. I'm so used to using coaching that automatically can't be directed by Follow Me that using Fake Tears is not something that is in my repertoire. I mean, it can't hurt either of our mons with Expanding Force, so I'm okay with trying the Fake Tears again, and then going for Night Slash into Armor Rouge again. Okay, this time we get the special defense. Fake Tears, they go for the Meteor Beam, and Malamar takes it. You get some good Night Slash damage, and I'm going to Spirit Break into Armor Rouge, and then protect Malamar here. Indeedee's going to try redirecting. It does about half to Grimmsnarl, which is not great. Let's try the side Fake Tears again, and I think as long as they don't go Heat Wave crit, we should live with Malamar. They do Heat Wave, but Malamar lives at least, so we get the Night Slash there. And Armor Rouge, we low roll the Armor Rouge, which means that it lives. But that's not so much of a problem because we can just Spiky Shield and protect this turn. They might double Trick Room though. I really hope the opponent doesn't double Trick Room. No, they swap in Gallade. Okay, that's better. They try to go for Dazzling Gleam, and Gallade can be 145 speed, and our Glimmora is 138 speed. So is this a game of we have to guess who's going to do an attack? Malamar's definitely slower than Gallade. I'd be willing to bet on that. I think I should just Meteor Beam into Gallade and then try Night Slashing Indeedee. Okay, the Meteor Beam gets redirected by Indeedee. Oh, we get the Night Slash into Gallade, and as Gallade is Trick Rooming. Okay. The worst part is they have Psycho Cut on Gallade, which is not very common. Yeah, I think I lose here now that they got up another Trick Room. I think what I should have done is I should have just Stellar Terra'd with Malamar in order to get our attack up and then just started dealing massive damage into things, but I was too nervous to go for Stellar Terra in case we got crit on Malamar. Let's Spiky Shield and yeah, out comes a Russian and Psycho Cut, and at this point the game is pretty much over. Okay, let's give that the run back. However, they're more likely to lead Gallade, I feel like, this time. I don't have much better than just leading Malamar Grimmsnarl and then have... I guess we could start Farigiraf. Farigiraf can at least Psychic into the Gallade. Let's start Farigiraf Malamar and then have Grimmsnarl and... who else? I guess Glimmora. They start Indeedee Armor Rouge again. Okay. This time we're going to Imprison, and then we're going to Stellar Terra Terra Blast into Armor Rouge. And Armor Rouge Terra Grassed and Helping Handed here. Terra Blast super effective at least. Get the Imprison. Armor Rouge goes for the Meteor Beam, but we saw last time this didn't do enough damage into Malamar, so it certainly won't do enough damage into Farigiraf. We're going to protect Farigiraf and go for the Terra Blast into Armor Rouge again. Indeedee's going to follow me it away, but Indeedee's pretty tanky, but... oh, that Heat Wave actually does so much. I guess I'll just Night Slash into Armor Rouge. I was like, I guess I should have gotten rid of Indeedee last turn. Night Slash into Indeedee, that gets the crit, but that doesn't matter. Heat Wave comes out, and that KOs Malamar and gets a burn on Farigiraf. Psychic KOs Armor Rouge, though. So what is their last Mons? I think we need to use Grimmsnarl to stall for a bit here, if I had to guess. It's Torkoal and Gallade again. Let's go for the Psychic and the Spirit Break into Gallade. And hope that okay, Sacred Sword and Torkoal Weather Balls. I think we saw last time that Glimmora was faster than Gallade. So I think what we have to do... they have Earth Power? They do have Earth Power. I think I have to take a risk here, Spiky Shielding and then Spirit Breaking the Gallade. Oh, Grimmsnarl is actually faster than Gallade. Okay, that helps out. Okay, yeah, the opponent understands that we went at this point. That's good to know. Grimmsnarl is faster than Gallade. So now what is their change up? I think it would be... we're going to lead Malamar again. They should probably lead Annihilape. But I'm fine with them leading Annihilape, as I'm going to switch Glimmora. Let's do the same mons that we had last time. Their Meowscarada is play rough, actually. They might bring Meowscarada here. Here comes Indeedee and Armor Rouge again. Okay. I mean, I think I'm just fine going for the Stellar Terra Terra Blast and going for the Imprison here. The Dazzling Gleam and the Meteor Beam. But they miss Malamar. Okay, lucky 90% there. We get the Imprison. Now let's go for the Night Slash into Indeedee, and actually, let's just protect this turn and Psychic into Armarouge to try and deal some chip into it. Also stall at the Psychic terrain. A Heat Wave, this is a bit, but we get our Citrus Berry. Now let's go for the Night Slash and the Psychic. Guess I should always be Night Slashing Armarouge, just in case Indeedee decides to not do Indeedee things. Okay, in comes Gallade, and Gallade takes a Night Slash. They Dazzling Gleam, but Farigiraf Psychic that slot. But it's not enough to kill it. Okay. In that case then, the opponent decides to give up now that their Gallade is on 2% health. I think what I was going to do there was I was going to... Well, Malamar's faster than the Gallade, so we could just Night Slash Indeedee and then swap into Glimmora with Farigiraf, because I don't think that they would Trick Room, I think that they would attack. And then once Glimmora gets off Toxic Debris or Malamar dies, we could just bring it back in for Farigiraf in order to Trick Room again. Yeah, we have... Is this a stall team? This looks a lot like a stall team. It's red card Glimmora, it's flip turn, the leftovers Wish, Alola, it's Rock Slide, Whirlwind, Slack Off, Hippowdon. Let's start Grimmsnarl Superior and then have Malamar and Glimmora in the back. Because there are some things that can be paralyzed in their team, but there's not a lot of them. Weavile's Choice Scarf, and it's max speed. It shouldn't still outspeed Superior. But they still have... they have Mortal Spin on Glimmora. Let's Fake Out into Weavile, and let's Leaf Storm into Weavile. So I'll take that out, and Glimmora is gonna get the Mortal Spin. Okay, Glimmora gets the Mortal Spin and poisons. Grimmsnarl's Cover Cloak though, so it doesn't get poisoned. In comes Excadrill, and what we can do is we can side Scary Face Superior. Excadrill does have Protect. The Glimmora doesn't though. It does have Spiky Shield. I think they're gonna try and switch in their sand here, so I'm going to Leaf Storm into the Excadrill. Okay, they turn into Terra Grass. So we still do a lot of damage to them, but they live the turn. They get up Rocks, Iron Head that takes out Superior. Let's bring in Malamar. And they're Clear Amulet, but let's side Scary Face Malamar and then go for the Superpower into Excadrill. I'll take it out. Now we have an attack boost and a defense boost, and a Mortal Spin again, which does poison Malamar for a bit of tick every time. Okay, in comes Hippowdon, which was the play that we were expecting eventually. So I can take out their Glimmora with my Glimmora. Depends how fast their Glimmora is. I don't think it's very fast though, since it's been... Actually, we don't know, because everything has been pretty fast with Grimmsnarl and Malamar using priority. I guess I'm going to Fake Tears into Glimmora, and then I'm going to Stellar Terra, Terra Blast, the Hippowdon. Because, Hippowdon's very tanky. Spikes, they Whirlwind us out, but in comes our Glimmora. And their Rock Slide, they don't have an actual ground type move, so we can Scary Face their Glimmora and go for Earth Power into it. And then that takes care of that. Now Hippowdon is going to be slacking off, but Glimmora can hopefully Sludge Bomb get the poison. So it'll help speed... Yeah, Sludge Bomb poison helps speed things up a lot here. We'll win this out, but Grimmsnarl comes back in. We can Fake Out, and let's go for the Meteor Beam. And that handles the stall pretty well. Okay, so what would their change-up be here then? I guess would it be... They're not Terra Ghost on Weavile, so we can always fake them out with Grimmsnarl. I still think Grimmsnarl Superior is our best lead, and then keeping Glimmora and Malamar in the back makes the most sense to me. Okay, this time they start Alola Glimmora. Let's Fake Out the Alola and go for the Leaf Storm into Glimmora. Okay, they swap in Hisuiui. Is Hisuiui Sapsipper? It is Sapsipper. Okay. Call the play right there then. We got red carded out into Malamar, but I don't dislike that, because Malamar can now start super powering the either slot, really. Let's Scary Face into the Glamora and Superpower into it. We're kind of betting on them not Spiky Shielding here, but I don't think they'll Spiky Shield. Yeah, they don't Spiky Shield. Superpower, and that picks a KO into Glamora. So what does Goodra do? Goodra goes for the Dragon Tail, and that swaps us out. Alola makes a return to the field. I feel pretty fine. I think they're Shelter, but they have Iron Head and not Body Press. So I think that Serperior in the back can always handle them. I'm going to Fake Tears Alola and then Meteor Beam into it to get rid of another slot. We land the Meteor Beam, and that knocks them out. Goodra goes for the Shelter, and now it is whoever they have in the back. It's Weavile, okay. So I don't think they can take out Glamora here. So I'm going to Spirit Break Weavile, and then Earth Power into Goodra. And Goodra's Terra Steel. Knockoff does do damage into Glamora, but we currently don't have an item, so it does less damage. And Goodra gets about half of its health taken off, but Grimmsnarl picks up the KO with Spirit Break, which is pretty nice, as Iron Head finishes off Glamora. And now we can have Serperior in the back, who we can Fake Tears into Goodra, and then we can... Is there a point in Terra Firing? I don't think so. Let's Fake Tears into Goodra, get the Dragon Pulse, the Iron Head into Serperior, but we're not on any kind of timers, so we can just keep clicking the Fake Tears and clicking the Dragon Pulse. And this Dragon Pulse will KO, so we're good. I think it's actually kind of good that we got to fight a stall team here. I mean, this team that we have here is kind of designed to break stall teams, and as we just saw, they can be quite annoying to deal with if you don't have a lot of fast offense, like, really quickly. So if there was a team to show off how good this team works, I think it would be this stall team. So thanks for running it, Mysterious Meat Man. But yeah, that's the basic gist of the Contrary or Bust team. I think this team would be a little bit better if we had something on it like a Comfey that could heal all of the stat boosters, so that whenever they get their health taken down and they have a lot of stat boost, something doesn't just come in and then use priority to take them out. But I'm not quite sure what Pokemon I would swap out on this team, because I think they're all pretty important in their own different ways. If you have any suggestions, let me know down in the comments below. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video, which, based on the schedule, is not going to be a pretty one. It's going to be bad. Thank you.